Some relatives don't need updates about your dating life or your marriage or your finances or your dreams or your struggles. Just because someone asks doesn't mean you owe them an answer. The aunties who will ask you, why don't you have a child? Why are you not married? Why this, why that? You don't owe anyone any explanation. Hey friend, welcome to the Rise and Rebuild podcast. This is your space to breathe again. A space for women of color, single women and single mothers to finally feel seen, deeply supported, and reminded that you don't have to do this journey alone. My name is Lydia, a certified life coach and founder of Break the Cycle Global and a proud cycle breaker. Around here, we don't just talk about life. We get real about it. The messy, the magical, and everything in between. From breaking unhealthy cycles to mastering your mindset, navigating relationships, parenting, career, money, faith, healing, and so much more. This is where we rebuild when life doesn't go as planned. I know what it's like to feel stuck because I've been there. And now, my heart beats for women like you, ready to rise up and embrace love, abundance, and confidence. So whether you're carrying painful wounds, facing another hard season, or simply ready for a fresh start, you are in the right place, my friend. Grab your coffee, warm your tea, and welcome home. Because this is where we break, heal, and rebuild together. Hey friend, welcome back to this episode of the Rise and Rebuild podcast. This is your girl Lydia, and as usual, I am so glad that you're here. Merry Christmas, you all. I hope it's a merry one. If it's not, I'm sending you so much grace, virtual hugs. It is okay. It shall be well. But for those who are having a Merry Christmas, enjoy. I hope you're having a great time with your families and friends. All right, if this is your first time listening, welcome home. Take your seat, feel at home. Around here, we talk about breaking unhealthy cycles. I help you heal what still hurts and rebuild your life with God at the center of it all. There's no pretense here. There's no perfection required. We are just real women having real conversations, doing life with a real God. All right? So before we dive into today's conversation, you know what I'm about to do, some housekeeping. First of all, you guys, I am so excited. The Cycle Breaker Reset is officially open. It's been open for the past 2 or 3 episodes now. And I have women that have already started signing up. So what is the Cycle Breaker Reset for those who are new here? The Cycle Breaker Reset is a 5-day reset for you to realign yourself, to reset your mind, your body, your spirit, emotions, your relationships, your money, your family stuff, your work. I'm not going to spill all the beans here. I want you to come join me. So come join me for the 5-day reset. It's happening January 5th to January 9th of 2026, just a few days from today. The link is in the show notes. Please sign up, save, and secure your spot. Spots are limited, so make sure you are in the room. For those who've already signed up, I will see you then. I'm excited for you. Number 2, my community is still open, free for all. So welcome to the Cycle Breaker Tribe community in School and WhatsApp. There are 2 ways to join us, either through WhatsApp or School. The links are still on the show notes. So come on in. There you find sisterhood like no other. There are free resources, paid resources for you that can help you on your journey of breaking cycles. Number 3, and finally, I want you to continue subscribing. Thank you to all the subscribers in this channel. Thank you for the people who are leaving reviews and comments on Spotify and Apple. I see you and I appreciate you big time. So please go ahead, subscribe if you haven't. It's important that you do. And then invite another woman that needs to hear these conversations. This is really, really helpful for somebody else. If you know somebody who needs to hear this, please invite them. It's the day before Christmas, and I know for a fact a lot of you are feeling stretched, triggered, or just tired. For most of you, if not a lot of people do around this season, because the holidays are just funny like that. On one hand, there's lights and music and food and traditions that are good, but on the other hand, there are family dynamics, expectations, unspoken rules, and some emotional burnouts that you didn't even put on your Christmas list, for lack of a better word. I know for a fact during this season, you can love your people and still feel very drained by them. You can want to show up and still feel like your nervous system is on high alert just because you don't know what to expect. And that is exactly why today, the day before Christmas, I want us to talk about setting healthy boundaries. You see, most of us didn't grow up with a healthy picture of boundaries, really, especially as women. And even more if you were born in a family that has very difficult dynamics and you are considered maybe the responsible one, the strong one. You are trained to think that saying no meant being disrespectful, being ungrateful, or even selfish. You are praised for stretching yourselves thin, for being available for everyone, for keeping the peace at any cost. And so now it's so difficult for you to set boundaries, and you start to feel that need to pull back and say no or choose different. And even if you start to feel the need to say no and pull back, guilt rises up. And if you're not careful, that guilt will take you right out of what you're trying to get out of or what God is trying to grow you out of. And here is what I want you to hear from the start. Setting boundaries is not about you being difficult. Neither is it about you being mean. A boundary is not you thinking that you're better than other people. A boundary is just simply deciding how you will participate in some situations, what you will allow and what you will not allow, what you will give and what you will not give, what you will sacrifice and what you will no longer sacrifice. Boundaries are not about controlling other people. They are about stewarding yourself, your mind, your emotions, your peace, your assignment. And I'm telling you, the holidays, they will test you. Because all that old stuff that you were used to, this is the moment that they surface and gets activated all at once. There's some old roles, old connections, old expectations. You may walk into rooms and you can feel yourself getting tensed up and that old version of you rising again. There are rooms where you expected to overfunction. There are rooms where you expected to be the one who's fine while you're dying inside. And maybe you've done a lot of inner work this year. You've really grown, and I applaud you for that. You've learned a lot. You've healed in places that you thought you would not heal. But being back in certain environments can almost pull you backwards. Your body can start to tense up. You can, brace yourself because you feel like there's a fight, there's some triggers coming your way, and you're just emotionally wiped out. I just want you to know this. Nothing is wrong with you for that if you're feeling like that. It's just that your body in this season is remembering where it had to survive. And this is why this boundary conversation matters so deeply right now. The question I want you to ask yourself is, are you going to abandon yourself this season again just to keep the peace? Or are you going to honor who you're becoming? Let me just get practical for a second, because sometimes it's not just about talk and talk and talk. One of the first areas where you can set a boundary this season is with your time. Did you know that you are allowed to choose how long you stay at home if home doesn't feel like home? You're allowed to know when you arrive and when you leave. No one needs to dictate that, and which events you attend and which ones you don't. Just because it's tradition doesn't mean it's healthy for you in this season. Maybe you used to stay through the night and now you need your sleep. It's okay to tell people that I need to leave early, I need to sleep early, I need to do what I need to do for myself. Time is one of the most overlooked boundaries. When you stay beyond what your body and emotions can manage, you're not being more loving to yourself. You're slowly leaking out your peace. In fact, the people you are spending time with, some of them may not even appreciate this. And I'm not talking about healthy family dynamics. Our families that are healthy are the best place to be. I'm talking about families that are draining. I'm talking about friends that are draining. I'm talking about situations that are draining you. Disagreements, fights here and there, drama here and there. You don't have to stay in such environment. You don't have to be the emotional trash for people where they just emotionally dump on you. You're not the shock absorber for everyone else, because everyone else has their own dysfunction. You shouldn't be the one to absorb all that. And so this season you are allowed to say, I am not available for that conversation right now. Tell people, I don't have money. You're not being mean. You're just setting a boundary. There's also something else that we rarely even talk about, the boundary of access. Not everyone gets full unfiltered access to you. You don't need to spill out all your secrets to people. You get to choose who to be vulnerable with in this season. Choose what to share and what not to share. Find a safe space. Not every space right now is safe. Find which topics are off limits for you. Some relatives don't need updates about your dating life or your marriage or your finances or your dreams or your struggles. Just because someone asks doesn't mean you owe them an answer. You can always say, I'm not sharing about that right now, and move the conversation a different direction. You're not lying. No, you're just protecting your heart. There are aunties who really want to know everything about you. There are aunties who will ask you, why don't you have a child? Why are you not married? Why this, why that? You don't owe anyone any explanation. Please have some level of self-respect and just walk out in such conversations and just tell them, I cannot talk about that right now. There are some jokes that may come off as jokes, but they are very disrespectful for you. You don't have to stay in such environments. You're allowed to just tell people you're not comfortable with that, or the comments or the things they're asking you doesn't sit well with you. You don't have to raise your voice to set a boundary. No. Sometimes the most powerful boundary is your absence from conversations or environments that dishonor who you are. Now, I know one of the things that I get when I talk about boundaries is the guilt that comes with it. That tight, nagging feeling that says, hey, maybe I'm being selfish. Or maybe I'm just causing problems. Or I'm ruining the vibe here. Please lean in here, because this is where most of you turn back. Listen, guilt is not always a sign that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes guilt is simply a sign that you're doing something good and new. Imagine you've spent years, maybe decades, stretching beyond your limit, saying yes when you meant to say no, being available when you are exhausted. So, of course, right now, when you start to say no, it feels very strange and wrong at the same time. Of course, it will feel uncomfortable to say no. Of course, it will feel very heavy to want to step back. But the question I want you to ask yourself is, has abandoning myself ever actually brought me peace? Or has it just kept everyone else comfortable while I silently break down? Listen, boundaries are a way of loving yourself and loving the other person at the same time. They are about refusing to abandon the woman you are transforming into. Well, there will always be people who benefit from your lack of boundaries. That doesn't mean you owe them unlimited access to you. I want you to still set boundaries because they are good for you. And trust me, they are good for the other person too. So ask yourself, where am I saying yes out of guilt or fear than from a place of peace? Which conversations are always leaving me small? Around which people do I feel like I have to shrink back into an older version of myself? And what will it look like for me to just start saying no? That right there is where you start to know where you need to set boundaries. One boundary is enough to start with this season. You don't need to overhaul your entire life and set all the boundaries there is. No. Maybe this year it's immediately just leaving after Christmas, or walking away from conversations, as I've said, that you don't want to engage in. It's maybe giving yourself permission to just stay at home and not travel anywhere else. Because we are women of faith, I want to remind you that boundaries are not ungodly. Jesus had boundaries. You and I know that. He withdrew from crowds. He went off to pray. He did not explain himself to everyone who questioned him. He did not heal every single person in every city. He honored his assignment, his time, and his capacity. Even him, he set boundaries. So when you set a boundary, you're not stepping away from God. You're actually mirroring his wisdom. And so if you're listening to this episode before Christmas and you're just saying, I've been so tired, I've been overfunctioning, I've been scared to set boundaries because I don't want to be seen as the bad one, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not bad for needing limits. You're not the villain for protecting your peace. You're not even wrong for wanting to move into the new year with boundaries, and that's okay. So in a nutshell, I just want you to do an audit of your family, of your spaces right now, and see if there are places that are draining you this season. You have healed. You've taken a whole year of healing. You've probably been in my classes. You've probably paid coaches to help you heal. Please do not undo all that work in just one season, in just one day. And if you need, please come to the Cycle Breaker Reset in January. We will create a room for you to reset your boundaries again. I don't want you to continue living on autopilot, but on purpose. So audit your life, set those boundaries, and extend yourself grace. Extend grace to other people as well during this season, because not everyone you meet is having it merry. Some people are having a very hard time this season. So extend grace even as you set those boundaries. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. This holiday season, you are allowed to choose differently, as I've said. You are allowed to protect your energy. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to leave early. You are allowed to stay home if you need to. You are allowed to have a quiet Christmas. You are allowed to be joyful and still have boundaries. You are allowed to feel whatever you feel. Okay? You're not behind. You're not falling, whatever anybody says. You have done so much work to be here today. And you're not asking for too much when you set boundaries. You're simply becoming a woman who refuses to betray herself for the sake of appearances. Okay? And that is what we call breaking the cycles, because now you're choosing differently. All right, sis, I have to go. This was really quick, random, not planned at all. I just thought I should come in front of the camera and help you set some healthy boundaries this season so that you don't feel guilty about setting them, and auditing the situations you're in, scanning your surroundings, and make sure they are supportive of your healing journey. Do not undo the healing that you've done in just one season. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Protect your heart. Protect your mind. Protect your soul. Protect your spirit. Protect your body with what you consume as well, right? And so I will see you in the Cycle Breaker Reset come January 5th to 9th. And apart from that, I want to remind you, your past does not define you. Apart from that, I still want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's break, heal, and rebuild together. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.